Hey, Slash, I do my cruise, and how the heck are you if I make a camera adjustment? Anyways, how are you, man? I'm going to be Tom, the Whiskey Whisperer. I'm not sure if Beer Whisperer's going to jump up for this one. We're just going to play it by ear. Um, I don't know if Anna Chase was going to continue. I was told it was, but I haven't heard back from the powers that be. I do have a guest I can line up. I just heard back from them, but so, anyways, we'll see. I hope it comes to fruition. If not, I'll just put the guest on my show and not worry about it. That's a good one, man. Well, from my point of view, I guess it kind of depends on what you're into, I guess. But from my point of view, it's a really biggie. Anyways, how the heck are you? I am Tom the Whiskey Whisperer. Beer Whisperer may show up, but I may just stick to the whiskey or, other than beer beverages. Let's just say, man. I was trying to fix something up here and couldn't quite get there. There we go. We've been unpacking boxes for quite some time. My wife recently unpacked a box. I had these glasses. I can almost remember getting them, but I'm not sure where they're from. Got these what? Got these. I don't know if that's supposed to be rocks or ice or whatever. But anyways, I like them. Those are nice thick glasses. I do have. This is just a straight up cocktail. It's really nice glass though, man. They're nice and heavy. Man. Anyways, I digress. Yeah, but it's from our daughter. My wife is telling me. So here's what I got in here. I used a couple different products. So I used some bourbon that I got for my birthday. Let me get that over. Levi and Ann gave me this bourbon for my birthday. It's the Walcott Kentucky made bourbon. This is a Rick House Reserve. I do believe it's a Total Wine exclusive. It's more or less a label bourbon, distilled by Barton, 1792, but isn't bad at all. I mean, it's at 120 proof, reasonably priced. It's a nice bourbon. So I've got that bourbon, but I wanted to change it up a little bit. I didn't want to turn it into a Manhattan. I didn't want to quite turn it into an old fashioned. So what I used was the express cans over here without popping other things down. I use the Tiaki Doll local distillery to me. This is their Sweet Blondies collection, a candied orange liqueur, up a little bit sweeter than say Cointreau, but better than any triple sec on the market, in my opinion. Just a nicely done orange liqueur. But I mean, it is decidedly sweeter than your typical Cointreau, but not as much as say it's your generic triple sec. So again, I kind of wanted to add a little bit of that orange. I wanted to sweeten it a touch, but not turn it into a straight out old fashioned, right? So that's why I use that, and then just a couple dashes of orange bitters. So with my particular programs at the pub, I've had a lot of beer and whiskey guests, but I've also had athletes, I've had musicians. So and I especially love talking to musicians because deep down, I'm a guy that never had quite the talent, but I love music and I love the whiskey and I like to kind of combine it all. So I'm always uh, looking to add whatever I guess I can. whether it be from music, sports, or the beer and or whiskey world. And I'd love to be able to do it for the And Chaser program if it's going to continue, but if it's not, I'll just work it into my at the pub. I had a nice vacation, my wife and I. I guess I can't speak for her, but it was nice for me because we weren't able to do the big grand vacation we'd hoped to do. And at one moment, it looked like we were just going to have to cancel everything. But I already had the days off, and I didn't really want to change that for a lot of reasons, especially during that time period that we took it off. Would have been over the time period of our son's, birthday. We kind of like to be, gone for those days, or at least out of pocket, if not out of town. Um, so I thought, well, we can't do the big thing we wanted to do. My wife had an idea to do something a little bit smaller, so we did that. And it actually worked out nicely for me because I was able to reconnect with a couple old friends that I hadn't seen in over a decade. Well, one hadn't seen in over a decade. The other one has been, I don't know, about 7 years or so. But nevertheless, I hadn't seen either in a minute. One had opened a brewery in the last couple of years, so that was kind of nice to get out there. And the other friend that I hadn't seen over a decade, our plan was just to meet somewhere for a beer, and we ended up hanging out all day to get there and get a little more tipsy than planned. But that was kind of fun too, just to do something unscheduled, right? Just to see an old friend and not have to do anything else, I guess. But it did give me a Jones to want to get back there for other reasons. I mean, I want to get back to the brewery because, man, that brewery, Moody Brews, in that Pitaway Square area right near that Soma area. Oh, my God. I mean, wow. Yeah, he's doing some of the best beers in the country at the moment, in my opinion. I mean, I'm not kidding. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not getting paid. I'm not getting a kickback. I paid for every beer I had there. But I'm telling you, Moody Brews is doing some serious stuff out there, man. I'm not kidding. But Southern Tail, I got to be honest, I had the Baltic Porter and the Baltic Porter and the barley wine there at Southern Tail, and wow, yes, they're rather amazing too. That Chicago dog, that was good. Wasn't great, but it was a decent representation of a Chicago dog. Why wasn't it great? Well, the bun fell apart on it. It looked like the dog didn't come out as hot as it should have. But the flavors were right. They're using the right everything. It was good. It just wasn't to the great side. But their beer was. Their beer was definitely on the great side. Rocktown Distillery, can't complain a damn thing about those guys. Had some nice cocktails there. Got some nice ideas from them to translate to where I work. I'm going to take a different approach, but I like what they're doing out there. I really like their product, man. I do. But again, I mean, at the risk of repeating myself, it was nice to see some folks I hadn't seen in a while, and that was my wife's idea. Well, we can't go too far. How about we just do this? And that was kind of nice. Because Little Rock's only about 4 hours from where we live. Going to Little Rock in August might not have been the best decision on our part because it was hotter. I mean, it was like it was hotter than hell in August out there, man. It was hot, man. It was warm. My plan was I set us up in a place where I could walk through a lot of places, but it was just too fucking hot for that, man. But I like to get back out there just for that reason. And I like to get that exact same place so I can set us up so she can go do whatever she wants and I can still walk to the other places that I didn't get to this particular time. It's funny, we always try to go, but I'm looking at things and we can do this, and this. And it seems like we're always back at wherever we're staying by 8 o'clock. So I want to go out. Gotta go see some jazz. There's an artist playing over here. I really wanted to go see. So I'm a big fan of Alejandro Escovedo. And so I found out that his brother Javier Escovedo was playing in Little Rock at a club about about 2 miles from where we're staying, which isn't far. But I mean, the show didn't start till 8:30, which meant the show actually wasn't going to start till probably 9:30. And I really wanted to go, but the main reason I didn't go to that one was, well, we ended up going back to the room early. But the main reason was they didn't have any. It was all SRO tickets, right? It's all general admission, and I don't do standing room only anymore. I'm just too old for that. I mean, tickets were only like, I don't know, I think it was like $16. But I wish they had a $50 option where I just could have had a place at the bar, right? I mean, I would have gladly paid 50 just to have a spot at the bar to watch the band. I'd have gladly paid I'd have gladly paid $100 to have a spot at the bar and do a meet and greet. I'm a little, I don't know why some places don't think of that. Because us old folks will do that. We're going to pay a little extra if we can just sit down and shake hands with the artist. I mean, I don't need a lot of time. Hey, how are you? I'm a big fan. You don't need to talk to me for 10 minutes. I don't need that. And you don't want that. But hey, shake my hand. Let me know you appreciate that I'm there. I'm glad to give you the damn money. But I don't want to fight for a standing room. No, I want to be able to sit somewhere, even if it's just, and quite frankly, I say even if it's just at the bar, but quite frankly, I'd rather just sit at the bar. That's where I want to sit. I want to sit at that corner of the bar where I can see the stage. I don't have to fight with anybody. No, that's what I want to do. I would have gladly paid $100 to have a bar stool and a handshake with the artist. That would have been fine. But instead, I didn't pay $16.50 because I wasn't going to fight for it, man. I'm too old for that shit. Older artists ought to get that, though. I mean, it was a handful of years ago now, but I paid like it was under $60 with tax to get a dedicated front row seat and a meet and greet with the legendary Denny Lane. Now, if you say to me, Tom, I don't know who Denny Lane is, then we don't need to have a conversation anymore. Because you're not a true music lover if you don't know who the hell Denny Lane is. But Denny Lane, although not a star, is or was, he passed away, was a music legend. So yeah, I mean to pay, and this was almost a decade ago now, so it's been a minute, but I'm just saying I would have gladly dropped $100, maybe even a little more, if they offered me a guaranteed spot at the bar and a handshake with the artist. That's all I'm looking for. Instead, you didn't get my $16.50 plus the drinks. But if I was able to know I had a guaranteed seat, could meet the artist, hell, I had a couple drinks and tipped extremely well. Because I'd have been happy. I had a spot. I met the artist. Oh man, I'd have talked about that for decades. Like I'm talking about Denny Lane almost a decade later. I don't know why folks don't get there. Us old folks, we can't stand for 2 hours anymore. We can't do that. We don't want to. I love to hear some music. I don't enjoy it as much as I once did, in all honesty. I don't enjoy. Like I said, I don't want to fight for it. I don't want to have to wait in line. Um, I turned 60 this year, but on my 59th birthday last year, um, a couple artists from my day, Saxon and Uriah Heep, were playing at a small theater here in town called the Galois. I think they hold what about I don't know, maybe 1,500 people. I mean, not great big, but not tiny either. But to be 2 rows back only cost me $50. but to get the meet and greet cost me about another 150. So I paid with tax about 220 to have a guaranteed seat and a meet and greet and a few other goodies and perks with the band. I was very happy with that. I got to meet the members of Uriah Heep and Saxon. Uh, Most of Uriah Heep wasn't original anymore, but there was a couple. And the same thing with Saxon. You know, not everybody was original, but it just brought me back to my youth, right? Because I saw these guys, you know, on their first tour 40 years ago. So it was nice to see them again. And all I'm saying is for artists like Javier Escovedo, it's not, I mean, he is a legend, but he's not necessarily known to a lot of folks outside that particular area. Unless you know the music, you may not know who he is. So yeah, I mean, it just I don't understand why a venue wouldn't offer a meet and greet. It just that doesn't make sense to me. Where I saw Denny Lane only holds a couple hundred. It wasn't a big club, and they had 25. I think 25, maybe 30 VIP meet and greets where they got about $50 out of us instead of the whatever 10 or 15 it would have been just for the general admission fees. And they sold every one of them because we were glad to do it. And I'm just saying if that was available for the Javier show, even if they just offered 20, they just offered the bar stools, right? Or maybe two tables up front. I'm sure they would have got it. Like I said, if I had a bar stool at a corner where I could see the stage, got a handshake with the band, that'd have been worth $100 easy for me. And I still would have did the. I still would have been happy for the 2 drink minimum. Oh yeah, a 2 drink. Fuck it, I'm gonna have 4. I'm gonna tip you really well too because now I'm sitting, I'm comfortable. I bet the artist. I'm really excited about that because I met a legendary artist. Not everybody knows, but I do. And that's the thing about us old music guys is not everybody has to be a superstar for us to be excited about it, right? Denny Lane, for instance. Denny Lane is the superstar name that everybody knows. But if you're a music guy, right? You know who he is. You know that he was a founding member of the Moody Blues. You knew that he was very much a contributing member to Paul McCartney and the Wings. You knew he wrote a lot of great songs. I mean, you just know he contributed a lot to music of the time. And it's the same thing with an artist like Javier Escovedo, for instance. I mean, you know who his famous family is, right? Uh, One brother was a member of Santana, a father of Sheila. Another member that I mentioned earlier, Alejandro, just a legendary songwriter, an Austin City Limits Hall of Famer. I mean, and Javier should be just as well known. I mean, with bands like True Believers. Uh, I mean, he was. His name isn't famous, but we hear a lot of bands because he influenced them. He's an early punk influence. So yeah, I mean, I wish they would have done a. I mean, I would have grown if they had any kind of a VIP package whatsoever. So, oh yeah, I'm in. I mean, give me a bar stool. Let me just say shake hands and say hi to the man. Here's $100. I'm going to buy 3 or 4 drinks. I mean, they'd have easily got a couple hundred out of me. I just didn't want to pay 16.50 to have to stand in line and fight for a spot to stand. Too old for that shit. Anyways, let it go, Tom. Take a breath. You talk for almost 20 minutes because I get on a roll sometimes and then I kind of forget. So, bottom line, had a great time. Had a great time in Little Rock. There are some things I didn't do, but that was fine. And like I said, we ended up hanging out. John, the beer snob, and I ended up hanging out more Saturday than I think either of us planned on, but it was still a lot of fun. There's a couple of things I meant to buy from Rocktown that I didn't, so I got to find a way to get back there to get those things because I thought I had them and I don't. Moody Brews was beyond impressive out there. They really were. But so was Southern Tail. That's the one that really surprised me. I mean, I knew Moody Brews was going to be good because I've known Josiah Moody for. I mean, I won't say we're close friends. It's not like we ever hung out party together, but we've known of each other for a while. And I've had some of his beers from past endeavors, so I knew the guy could brew. So the fact that his beers were as amazing as they were wasn't necessarily surprising, but you know, but they were. But Southern Tail I hadn't heard of before, so when I had their Baltic Porter and their barley wine, I said, "Oh my God, these guys are! I mean, these guys are world class contenders." Stone's Throw was good. I have no complaints about Stone's Throw. They were just like I remembered them. It was like they were stuck in a time warp. It was almost exactly the same place that I remember, but they haven't grown, but they haven't declined, so that's a good thing too. We had a good time at the. I mean, we went to the farmers market there at the river market. That was interesting. So anyway, I rambled longer than I intended on, so I'm going to grab drink number two so I don't run too much longer than I need to. So this is an interesting one I've got here. I'm using two Rocktown. I want to do something kind of light, and I hadn't tried this combo, but it kind of made sense to me. Is I'm using the Rocktown Arkansas Lightning at one tip. They're unaged whiskey, and they don't really give me any other info than that. I don't believe. Arkansas Lightning is corn whiskey, or what some might call moonshine. So it is a corn whiskey. Okay, that's nice. It's at 110. So I use an ounce of that, but I use 2 ounces of the Rocktown watermelon flavored vodka at 70 proof. So I've got the watermelon, and then I also had just a touch of some flake salt in there. And this is what I got in this little pink concoction anyway. So launch it. Gosh, that's nice. That's really nice, actually. So the watermelon adds just enough sweetness to that 110 proof corn whiskey, so it doesn't shoot fire at your ass. Not that I've ever had that happen, except for the one time I ordered a Taco Bell burrito with 20 fire sauces, but that's a story for another day. That's a whole different thing. That's a whole different thing altogether. But nevertheless, that sounds like an exaggeration. But yeah, I used to. I mean, on a small burrito, I would use 12 fire sauce on each burrito. Yeah. Then wonder why I was in such pain the next day. Wife and I haven't ate fast food in a while. We're really trying not to. Because I figure it doesn't matter what kind of stuff I concoct here, it's still going to be healthier than that crap. Even if it's not the healthiest thing, it's still going to be better than that shit. Anyway, so I digress. Oh, mercy. But yeah, not only was I able to connect with some old friends, I met some different folks. It was a lot of fun. I love the Moody Brew space. The tap room itself is rather small, but they got a nice little outdoor area. But again, I got to tell you, the beer there, if you ever get a chance to hit Moody Brews, in Little Rock. I could not recommend that brewery more highly. Their beers are just insanely good. But keeping with that again, Southern Tail, man. The breweries that everybody knows out there, Diamond Bear, Flyaway, Lost 40, those are good breweries, and I'm certainly not going to take anything away from any of them. But if you're in Little Rock and you can only visit two, the two I would recommend the most are Moody Brews and Southern Tail. Those guys are doing beer beyond compare. There is no doubt about that. They're doing some serious beer out there. I am secure enough in my manhood to drink a pink cocktail. I mean, I'm not offended by Cracker Barrel changing their name or changing their logo and change their name, but they changed their logo. And folks on the far right are losing their damn minds about it. I'm not worried about NFL teams using male cheerleaders. I'm pretty secure in my manhood, so I ain't worried about that shit. Because I'm not looking at cheerleaders at an NFL game to get aroused anyway. So I'm not sure why those candy asses are getting offended in the first place. But nevertheless, they are. And they want to call folks on the left snowflakes. Do you believe that shit? They want to call us snowflakes. When they get offended about the silliest ass shit, oh my gosh, Cracker Barrel, change your logo. I'm offended. You're an idiot. Anyways, before I go too far down that rabbit hole, I'm going to let it go. Let it go, Tom. Yeah. The assholes are going to be assholes. I am Tom the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor of wisdom. All wrong, good guys. Launch you.